Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the big conversation. Nice to see everyone back. Hope you've been enjoying the previous ones. Tonight, we again have a special guest on tonight with us, a member of Woodside Park Synagogue, a member who many of you may know well. We're doing something slightly different tonight, and this is going to be a big conversation, but it's going to be a down-to-earth conversation. It's going to be a conversation which is going to be hopefully relevant to just life in general, not necessarily an ask the expert, but just having a chat about life and about, more specifically, I guess, life during COVID. So we have with us, and I'm about to bring her on, Lucy Ross, who has a degree from Manchester University, but hasn't told me yet what that degree is. Maybe she'll share that with us. Lucy has recently started her own bracelet business called Love Ruby Ross, which she'll talk about. And Lucy is a proud member of Woodside Park Synagogue as well. So without further ado, we'll bring Lucy on. Hi, Lucy. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello. Hi, everyone.
How are you doing? How are you finding lockdown? How are you finding life so far during this crazy period?
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, everyone's been quite relaxed in my household, but I've been working really hard and really grateful that people want to shop online at the moment. And yeah, been working harder than ever. So kind of grateful for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're not even grateful for the fact that we can work nowadays.
Exactly.
So Lucy, there's a lot we could talk about, but can you tell us just a bit about yourself maybe, and then I guess more specifically about this new business which you've started up and what motivated you to start this business and why you're so passionate about it?
Okay, so I graduated a long time ago. I know you just briefly mentioned my degree.
I specifically didn't say how long ago you graduated. So
okay. So I studied fashion textiles retailing. So it was the business around fashion because I was at more of a science-based uni at UMIST in Manchester. It's now one university, so that does show my age a little bit. Not that old. I'm only 35. No. And it was very technical, very business orientated. So I never got to experience anything creative. And then when I went straight out of uni, I went into buying and merchandising at Ted Baker. And then I've done quite a lot since then, but I fell into recruitment just before I got married. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, I decided that after my maternity leave, I wasn't going to go back into the fashion industry. I tried it for a few months and it was meant to be 3 days a week, but it was very much full time. And I just didn't like taking an 8-month-old to nursery from 9 till 6. It just wasn't for me. So I went back into recruitment and I've been doing that ever since. And I work part-time for Skinny Dip in-house doing their recruitment. The bracelet business was set up last maybe October. Like the end of last summer. Anyway, I set it up to kind of help me with my anxiety. And it got really busy very quickly. And I then tried to, look for some help, and I just felt like whenever I got someone in to help me, I ended up just chatting to them all the time and I just didn't get work done. So there's been a lot of late nights, a lot of emotion, and that's gone into it. And it's got especially busy during lockdown. Partially grateful for being furloughed, but also quite excited to go back to work soon because I do miss like the challenges of not that it's challenging, but it's creative, and I set it up to help me with anxiety around my mum's cancer diagnosis. And I've been trying to raise money for High. I'm actually meant to be doing the marathon for them, but obviously there's not been a marathon yet. But I will do a marathon whenever it will be. I can't foresee it being October, but who knows? So I set up the bracelets in order to help with the anxiety, and also a fun way of raising money for High, to give something back to them. My mum wasn't going to them, but I have been going there for counselling. And they're still incredible, the most incredible support. If anyone needs them or hasn't heard of them, like, definitely, this isn't an advert, by the way, definitely look them up. They are the most phenomenal organisation based in Hendon. And yeah, where was I? Why did I set it up?
Just talking about the bracelets. We'll come back to the bracelets in a second, but you brought up Chai. I just wanted to just add into what you were saying, that as part of a rabbinic training program that I've been on over the past year and a half, we went as a site visit to Chai, and I was just blown away by what they do and how they do it as well. They have so much care and so much sensitivity to the people who are going through, who have cancer and are dealing with that, and also the family as well. So
my mum hasn't felt that she's needed to go there. Like, she has talked about, going to art classes with another friend of hers that goes there, but really they have been just my go-to place, just like, so I can be as strong as I can be for her, without having to, like, be a miserable cow to my husband all the time. I know he's watching this. So they just have been incredible. And I just wanted to give something back. Like, obviously, it wasn't that I was going there for counselling and not paying for it and taking something for granted. It was just more, I want to give something back. I always wanted to do a marathon. 2020 was always my year. I mean, I don't know if it will be now. And I didn't want to do a marathon just because of High. It was always on the cards once I'd had my kids. But it just seemed so, apparent. And I couldn't think of anyone else I'd rather raise money for. So when I get to do one, it will be for High. I have made a phenomenal amount of money for them so far.
Amazing.
I started donating a third of every sale, not just the profits, to High, up until meeting my fundraising target, which was £3,000. Now we're way above that. I'm donating 10% still of every sale. But now I've just had to open an Etsy shop. I'm not sure. I haven't really decided or worked out how I'm going to donate on top of that, because they do take quite a big portion. But High are still getting 10% of every single sale. So
amazing. Did you mention what the name of that bracelet or jewelry business is, so that people can find you?
It's Love Ruby Ross. We're on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram but would like to order a bracelet, you can email me at loverubyross@gmail.com.
Okay, fine, great. Now that's good to know.
Have a look on Etsy.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's quite there's a great feeling over there being able to give back to an organization such as Chai. It's not, as you mentioned before, there's a lot that they give, but it's also great to be able to do something and feel like you're a part of their sort of mission. So yeah, that's really good. So in addition to your bracelet business, which is probably a struggle during lockdown and as you were saying, during furlough and all of that, I think we pretty much have kids who are the same age. So there's a lot we can talk about on the topic of kids. And I must say I fluctuate during this period of sort of appreciating the fact that my kids are home and I get to see them a lot more than I would otherwise have seen them. And sometimes I have days where I just can't believe they're my kids, and how am I going to deal with this on a daily basis? So my hope is that everyone feels the same way, and I'm not the only crazy one out there. But I'm just curious in terms of yourselves, like, how have you found this in terms of dealing with young kids and being in the house with young kids, the ups, the downs, everything in between?
So I think that being home with children all day is enough to make the sanest insane. Having said that, they are the most wonderful age, and it has been so nice to be with them. But enough's enough now. Like, Boris, like, just open the schools full time. No, it's really hard. I'm anyone that says they've enjoyed lockdown and just being with their family 24/7. To me, it makes me think, am I crazy? Because
Yeah.
there's been a lot of tears and tantrums in our household. My kids need the stability. They need to be at school. I was very much umming and ahhing about sending them back to childcare. Mainly, like, my main thing was my mum and her being probably a bit more vulnerable than the rest of us. But
yeah.
I mean, she won't not see the kids. She won't shield from them. Like, you know, that's just her. You know, that's her decision, and not seeing them made her miserable. So, you know, it was a hard thing, but I'm so happy they went back. And I mean, they're there 2 days a week, 2 mornings a week. My son, he's at nursery. But it gives me 2 mornings where I can actually work during the day rather than at nights. And it's been life-changing.
No, definitely.
I'll never moan about having to go to work again in the daytime. I'll never moan about a school pickup. I mean, Ruby's school is on our road, but I'll never moan about, you know, having to wake my son from a nap or him not napping. I'll just, you know, I would never.
It is interesting.
Normal life for granted ever again.
That's a really good point. Because my next question was going to be: is there anything you sort of learned from this whole situation or lockdown period? And that is a great one that you've mentioned over there. It's sort of not taking these things for granted. We sort of lose track of what's really helpful.
I do worry about children, and you know, I probably am a bit over the top with cleanliness anyway, always making them wash their hands, anti-bac, everything's in the bag. You know, I go to a restaurant and I clean the table before they even sit down. Right.
This is pre-COVID, or this is during? This is
pre-COVID.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So
I do. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and just get back to normal life, because they, you know, I know that a bit of germs is good for everyone, and
it depends which ones, but
yes, of course. But I just have to get on with it, because I don't want to instill that in my kids, that, you know, don't touch anyone, don't go near anyone, don't do this, don't do that. And that's all they're hearing at the moment. They go into school, wash your hands, like, don't even talk to your friends, just go and wash your hands. And it's, you know, it must be hard for them. They're so little.
Yeah. And I guess going back to school for them is quite exciting as well. My kids went back to school recently, and they were thrilled. I was taking it quite personally, actually. I felt like
I did too. Ruby cried for 2 terms, hung on to me for dear life. And her teachers always used to say, you know, that just shows that she's really happy at home and she loves you very much, and, you know, she will get through it. And after lockdown, when she was allowed to go back to school 2 days a week, she could not have ran away from me fast enough. And I was like, you know, bye. And she didn't look back. So apparently I need to be grateful for that. But
same here. I mean, I think even as good as parent as you can be, being stuck with them for 3 months is just too much for anyone.
No, it's not. It's not okay. And anyone that anyone that thinks that, you know, it was the best thing in the world, I can't relate to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice they're back into routine. It's nice that they're able to see their friends.
They need the routine. Yeah. They need the stability. It's not, in my opinion, it's not healthy for them to be with me 24/7. They need, you know, as much as this homeschooling thing was great, and we had a whole homeschooling corner at the beginning, and it was really exciting, and we printed off loads of resources. Now, if someone said to me homeschool, I couldn't be more grateful for teachers and what they do. I can't do it.
That's another one as well. That's another one. Being grateful for the teachers.
Obviously, really grateful for the NHS.
Yeah, definitely goes without saying, for sure.
That goes without saying, but teachers, just incredible.
Cool. You know, I'm thinking about the fact, Lucy, that you might be quite well known for your husband as well. I'm not sure if is he there with you in the room, or is he somewhere else in the house?
No, he's watching in the kitchen.
Maybe this is his cue to maybe come on and introduce himself, because I think if people watching know Oliver from, he doesn't have to come. We can carry on from real estate.
Probably not watching.
He's probably not watching. Okay, well, he'll get in trouble later then. But yeah, Lucy's husband is, Lucy's known in her own right, but Lucy's husband is Ollie Ross from Real Estates. And apparently everyone from Woodside Park knows him and beyond. and he's a close friend to all. So if he's around, we'd love to say hi as well. But if not, we'll continue with our conversation. Ollie around?
Just
No.
not sure.
Okay, fine, no worries. No worries.
We could talk about him instead.
Yeah, we'll talk about him soon. Well, I've just been thinking about the bracelet business and about how much, how amazing it is. Oh, here he is. Okay.
Here he
Right,
is.
we'll come back to the bracelet question soon.
You can sit here.
Hiya.
Hi, Ollie. How you doing?
Well, you?
Yeah, good. Welcome
Good.
aboard.
Nice to see you.
And
I've
you,
just
and
been
you, and you.
listening to my wife going on for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I hope you found it interesting. I hope there's some tips you've picked up.
Yeah, it's been good. So you've got some questions for me?
Well, I just want to know how you've been keeping, how business has been going for you, how you've been finding the whole situation.
We've been back now around 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And thinking about it, obviously, you've got me on the spot now. It was an interesting situation. We got obviously the announcement. I think going back to it was on a Wednesday that we could literally reopen. And the estate agents, we were like on the front line. We were the first people that
key workers.
I felt like a key worker for the past.
Quite literally, actually. Key worker. Is that what you mean, or not?
Well, we were the first industry that was actually opened and allowed to go back to work. So we had a lot to do. We had to put everything in place with the PPE. So we had to get all that sorted. And we opened on the Monday. And people asked me, I had a lot of calls and messages during the 8, 9, 10 weeks that we were off to say, well, what do I think is going to happen with the property market? And I told a lot of people, I don't know. I can't answer it. It's a grey area at the moment. I'm at home. I'm taking inquiries. Myself and my partner, Stephen, were working. I had the Totteridge office transferred to me and Stephen had the Woodside Park office transferred to him. And it was a very strange 10 weeks, I have to say, at home. And we came back and it was like somebody turned the tap back on and instructions came in. People were registering and we had a lot of people that wanted to move and people moving from flats to their first properties in Woodside Park around in Stephen's office where I live and near Mickleham Down and Norvium and the other side, Sisbury Rings and the Wilmingtons, people moving there. Yeah. And then we had people that wanted to move into bigger properties that I deal with in Totteridge. And
so people are actually moving now. People are moving.
Yeah, it's busy. People want to move. We're very, very busy. People have decided that.
I hope it's not people wanting to move out of their house as opposed to with their household. I know that during lockdown
can be a bit tough.
Exactly.
It's more the case that I think people have realised that if they were living in a smaller property and wanted to move to their next home, now is the time to do it, and if they could afford to do it, not to wait. So we've been okay the last 6-7 weeks. People have been asking us to move them.
Why? Can I just ask you, Ollie? Why is now the time to move? Why do you think it's the best time to move at the moment?
Well, it's not the case that it's the best time to move. I think we've had people have been at home for 10 weeks, and if they had a 1 or 2 bedroom flat and they wanted a bigger property, and they can afford to do so, that they've contacted the certain agents and they've moved on. Yeah. That's what we've been doing. So thank God it's been okay.
Yeah, no, I could definitely I can testify to the fact you guys are still going strong, because I got a letter through my door the other day saying real estate's like to look at your house and they'd be open to buying it if we wanted to sell it. So still stuff going on.
Well,
you're still working hard.
We've been around a a long time.
Definitely. And I think I think you've earned a name for yourself in the area as well. Everyone knows Ollie Ross. Everyone knows Lucy Ross by
I try.
Lucy, you still there? Can we see you in the camera as well? Is it impossible to have two?
I can't sit too close to him.
That's true. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's better. That's good. That's good. I think that actually helps with the camera.
But can I just say, obviously, I'm very proud of Lucy, because she's worked very, very hard over the last however many months.
He's had to bond with his children over lockdown a lot more.
Because obviously with my mother-in-law not being well is how the bracelet business started.
She's doing really well at the moment, by the way.
Thank God. Thank
not
God.
That we're going into that, she's watching. But...
No, we're not going to go into that. But you know, she's been making these bracelets, and look, they're incredible. Look, I've got them. We've got them. And
can you flip? I think Lucy, you showed me before that we could actually see.
Oh God! Yeah, but everyone's going to see how disorganized I am. But it's
but everyone knows. Everyone knows what businesses look like.
We're living with my parents at the moment, so everything seems to be like in plastic bags, and I've taken over their whole house with beads. But
clearly, you guys are. Both of you are still working hard, given what's going on, and still going strong.
Trying.
Yeah.
Trying. Yeah, that's all we can do, actually. We can only try. Yeah, and I think we all have our ups and downs, especially during crisis like these. So
it's been a challenging time, but I think the main plus points that I've taken from it is the most important thing in life is obviously your family and your health, and you know, everything else is secondary. And if you've got your family around you, and I've never had, since I was 16 years old, I've never had so much time off. It's been the most time I've never since 16. I'm openly going to say I've never had more than a week and a half at one time. So to be off work and actually be able to relax for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, really incredible. I'm 34 years old.
Almost 35.
No, I'm still young. It was incredible, and
it is. And just on that point, I was just speaking to someone the other day, and he was telling me, and he's a bit older than yourself. I think he's in his quite a bit older than yourself, in his late 40s, I think. He was saying that he used to think that it's normal to be tired all the time. That's just
I agree
life.
With that. My stress levels are here. I'm stressed. I'm stressed 24 hours a day, and I can deal with that. I can live with that. But to actually not be stressed for that 8, 9, 10 weeks, and to not have to worry about
Ollie and the kids had a holiday. I worked.
It was I was with the kids, and Lucy was working. But I think the young families like us, it was with young children who are obviously out of their routines. It's been challenging, but
pain. I think no pain, no gain in a way. It's been challenging with the kids, and there have been times when, I'm not going to say, but I think ultimately that is when we bond the closest with our, when we invest so much in our kids, and when it's tough and when it's challenging, and when that's when our love really shows through.
And it's fascinating just how resilient they are, and they don't realize that much is going on. And we can't go walk into a supermarket with them, and we can't go to soft play, and we can't go to a restaurant, and they're fine with that because they're happy, and they're loved, and they're at home, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, totally. And
be able to see them every single day for hours and just do whatever. And what I'm going to miss the most about working again 6 days a week is my bike rides. I was able to go out on my bike every single day, and I'll miss that. My fitness has gone downhill since, but never mind.
Your fitness has gone downhill since you've restarted working.
I was out every single day. I was but now it's game over.
Well, we can somehow reincorporate that. I think there's sort of been two extremes. We've had the extreme of just going straight into lockdown and no one's able to do anything. So therefore we've been working hard at our exercise and all the different things. And then we've gone straight back into work. And all of that's gone out the window because it's just all a bit crazy. But I think hopefully eventually we'll find that balance. When things settle down, we'll remember what it was like during lockdown, remember what it was like during work, and somehow merge the two together. And we can...
something, I'll tell you who I feel sorry for. I felt sorry for obviously the people that was, there's no shawl and no minions, and people that rely on going to the morning service, the afternoon. I know my neighbours are religious, a lot more religious than us, and I know that he would have been at every service, and they haven't been going, and he hasn't been able to go to shul. And I do feel very sorry for people that are a lot more religious than I, that have lost their routine and shivered, whatever it is. Can't get a million together, I think. So I'd like to hear from you maybe on what your view is on that.
Cool. This is switched into an interview the other way around. Wow, okay.
No, not even an interview, but just the case.
No, I understand. No, I'm fine. That's a great question.
I do feel sorry for the community that obviously rely and love Woodside Park Synagogue and haven't been able to be part of it. I feel sorry for the more religious community. I really do.
So you brought up something great, and that's something I'd love to answer. And what I'd say is really two things, Ollie. Number one, I feel for them too. I think it's really, really difficult when you have a routine which you're used to, which you can no longer engage with and no longer be a part of. It's really hard, and it sort of shakes the whole system. But number one, as we were saying until now, there was so much we can learn from when our routine changes about ourselves and about our families and about life in general. And I think people really are learning a lot more about all of those things. Sometimes life can just become very monotonous. We could just do the same thing day in, day out, even religiously monotonous. We can go to shul 3 times a day, keep Shabbat, keep kosher, and not think about God once. that can happen. And it's because it becomes routine, and it just becomes, well, this is what we do. And I think having a situation like this, which of course we'd prefer not to have, I think it gives people an opportunity to think in areas which they've never thought before. And people are really, that vistas have opened up for them in terms of how they see their Judaism, in terms of how they see their families and their life. And that's number one, Ollie. But number two, and I think this for me has been amazing to see, is that our community hasn't shrunk as a result of COVID. It's grown because we have so many people who aren't regular shul goers, who don't necessarily turn up to events of the shul, who are less connected to the community, who now are just as connected to the community as anyone else. There is no such thing as someone who's more of a regular than someone who isn't. And I think in a way, just that balance has really enabled so many people from our community, but less affiliated to our community, to really feel connected in a way they've never felt before. So obviously there's challenges, obviously there's difficulties, but at the same time, I think it's really brought communities together, and people are learning so much about themselves and about others. I think there's a respect that people have for those that don't come to shul as regularly. And I hope this is something which will, really hope the momentum will continue, and the community will be able to see things in ways they've never seen them before. So I hope that was helpful for you, Ollie. That was a great question. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. Look, it's go on. What were you going to say? I cut you off over there.
No, I just feel obviously, I feel for the people that rely on the shul. And that going to that service and going to shul on Saturday, and it's I do feel sorry for them, because their way of life may have changed massively because they haven't got their routine, and that's their routine, going to those services. I feel so everyone has suffered from this.
Definitely. What was that, Lucy? I missed that.
Everyone's in the same boat.
Everyone's in the same boat, and that to a certain extent makes things, and that to a certain extent makes things easier.
I think because obviously most people, if anybody is watching this, are local people to Woodside Park and the local community, and I think we have been very lucky as a community to have the most wonderful area to enjoy whilst this COVID has been going on, and N12, N20, and our side of Finchley, shall we say.
Right.
There's a lot of green, and there's a lot of open space, and you're able to go for long walks, and you're able to go out with your family and not have to, going back 8-9 weeks, there's loads of space. So you weren't on top of people, and I don't want to incriminate myself, but I know for a fact I was going for longer than 1 hour walks, and it wasn't going to bother anybody. It was lovely. So the only thing I've taken from
just grateful
COVID
for what we have.
It's grateful for just
not being cooped up in a tower block.
Be grateful for what you've got in life, and realise that life is precious. And that was what I learned. I've learned from this whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, and I think you're not alone. I think I've lived in Woodside Park for 2 years now, and okay, you got some. Richard agrees with you over here, Oliver.
I love Richard. He's a great guy. Richard's very close to the shore.
Richard's one of our favourites. I shouldn't say that on camera, but he really is.
He's a special man, Richard. I know him well. But yeah, it's and again for the older community, I don't want to obviously single anybody out, but people that are told that if you get COVID, you're going to get really sick and you could possibly pass away from it, you know, who have literally been indoors, you know, it's horrendous. I've been a bit more gung ho, shall we say, and my life hasn't really changed, to be honest, as far as, you know, I haven't had it, I haven't got it, and I don't think, you know, I've been so. But the older community have thought, God, if we get this, we're going to get really sick, and this could be. I know. I'm not going to say God again, but it's just the case of, I do feel sorry for the older community, local, and like guy that works with me, Jordan Silver. He's not watching. He lives in Mill Hill, but. Yeah, he told me, and I remember this, that there's an elderly couple that live on Great Bushy Drive. Lovely older couple, and I go, well, a few weeks ago, all of a sudden he's got 4 pints of milk in his hand. I go, what are you doing? I said, I've just bought milk. He goes, oh no, I'm taking it over to Rhoda and Nick. I said, really? I said, okay, amazing. I said, it's really nice. He goes, no, I've been doing it for the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
And like, you know, there's little things like that people have been doing to help.
It just goes to show that people have just been amazing. We have a WhatsApp group. It can be quite annoying at times for our road and like the surrounding roads. And during lockdown, like I think Ollie sent a message saying, does anyone have any kidney beans that we could borrow? Like we just had in our heads what we wanted for dinner, and we obviously couldn't get to the shops, and it was on our doorstep within honestly a minute. We're
blessed to have such an incredible community. I really mean that.
I really feel that way too. I mean, I'm a nice guy, but I never really got to know my neighbours that well because I was never home, and when I was home, it was night. So when would I get to see them?
Rabbi, as far as I'm not going to say where I live again, but we have the best neighbours. I mean, we're talking the lady opposite. There's a random car park there. I went over to her this morning. Do you know anything about the next one? She's done like full detective. Lady opposite. She's done a full investigation to who's got this blue car, and like she's working on it as we speak to get it moved for me.
Amazing.
But the community that we have is in this whole area.
Yeah.
People, what I can say to people that are watching, if you're not close to your people in your road, like, you know, it's the best thing if there is some sort of community spirit. Say hello to them, just, you know, and it's nice. It's something that
our community WhatsApp group was set up actually in quite a sad, like harrowing time, and there was a lot of burglaries, you know, Mickleham, Northiam, Southover, you know, just surrounding roads to us, and actually Ollie set up a WhatsApp group, and like I said, it can be a bit irritating at times, but if anyone's got an emergency or there's ever a problem, you know, someone will just send a message, alarms going off, or help, or just whatever, you know, if they really had to. And it just goes to show just how amazing people can be.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we have the same thing on our road, Avondale Avenue. It's a fantastic road. I must disagree with you, Ollie. I think we have the best neighbours. I mean, this road is just absolutely fantastic.
Let's say N12, N20.
Okay, fine.
You grew up in the same area as me, and I have to say that although my parents live on a wonderful road, the neighbours aren't as lovely.
There's no community spirit here, really, bar a few. I feel we've got an incredible community spirit.
We do.
I really mean that.
It obviously comes as a result of the incredible estate agents that we have in the area who vet the various people coming through and make sure that it was only the very best that buy houses over here. I'm sure.
We work hard. We do our best to help people. That's what it's all about. And
that's true. That's exactly what it's all about.
Well, look, his number below.
No.
Well, look, Lucy's going on a marathon soon. She's got a bracelet business for Chai. You're helping out the community. I think you're an inspirational couple, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you and hearing your stories.
You're an inspirational couple as well, and I'm going to miss you very much.
We'll still be around. We'll still be within contact. We're off to Hadley Wood. Ollie, now you get to know me. Just before we
You're
move.
in Hadley Wood.
Yeah, we're moving off to Hadley Wood, Ollie. Lucy was telling me about her husband, and I thought I just can't stay. I have to go.
I'm
really going to miss your wife.
I wish you all the best. And
thank you very much, Ollie. It was really nice to meet you. Nice to chat with you. Lots of people have been enjoying this chat as well. So, l'chaim to you both. Wishing you all the best, and keep safe, keep well, and hopefully we can see each other in person very soon.
Take care.
See you. Bye-bye. And to everyone who's been watching, Facebook, YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We went slightly over time tonight, but that's because we were just having too much fun. And looking forward to seeing you all next week. Same time, same place. Have a good night.